Basketball fans, welcome into NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, as always, Jimmy Crowther, and today I've got my way too early 2021 NBA Power Rankings. We're going to go from worst all the way up to the best of the best, starting off with number 30, the Detroit Pistons. It's a rebuilding year, and that's just fine. All they need to do is just rebuild with Sekou Doumbouya, Luke Kennard, Christian Wood, and whoever they draft in this next year's draft. Trade Blake Griffin, trade D. Rose, get some draft assets. Number 29, I got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who continue to rebuild around Colin Sexton and Darius Garland, but they're probably going to look to move Kevin Love and maybe even Andre Drummond and get more draft assets for them as well. Got them coming in at 29. At 28, a team that's all too familiar with the lottery at this point, it's the New York Knicks. And I'm sorry, Knicks fans, but this team's not going anywhere right now. Julius Randle is your best veteran in the lineup, and he just doesn't move the needle for me for a team that's looking to get out of the lottery. Now, I like R.J. Barrett. I like Mitchell Robinson. I like point guards that will be available with that number 8 overall pick, but I'm just not high on this team, and I'm not high on Tom Thibodeau as the head coach of the Knicks to take them anywhere besides the lottery, so I've got New York coming in at 28. At 27, the Charlotte Hornets, who have the third pick in the NBA draft, and I think they could take a very talented player there, but not enough to get them into the Eastern Conference playoffs. Coming in at 27 behind Devontae Graham and Terry Rozier in that lineup. At 26, I got the Sacramento Kings, and until they get rid of Luke Walton, I don't think they're going to move anywhere else. That guy needs to go, and there's also been reports that everybody not named De'Aaron Fox is available on that team, so they could be doing a little mini rebuild in Sacramento. Now, you saw my bottom 5 teams, so those are probably going to be the teams that are fighting for the number 1 pick. Who needs it the most in 2021, and who will be the one to get it? Let me know in the comment section by just typing that team down below. Who gets that number 1 pick in 2021? Now let's go to my number 25 team, the Chicago Bulls, a team that I actually do like a lot with Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen. I love Wendell Carter Jr., and I'm excited to see what they do in this year's draft, but they're not ready to push into the playoffs quite yet, but a good hire to get Billy Donovan away from OKC. At 24, I got the nation's capital team, Washington Wizards, getting John Wall back. They've also got Bradley Beal, but outside of Rui Hachimura, there's not a lot of good role players on that team to take them anywhere besides back to the lottery. At 23, a team that I think is going to be very fun to watch, the Atlanta Hawks. Now, I think a lot of things could change. I think they could climb up in my power rankings when we get closer to the season, but because they're still so young, I've got them just outside the Eastern Conference playoffs looking in. Trae Young, one of the game's most talented offensive players in the league right now. I love Kevin Huerter, a very good shooter in the backcourt with him. Cam Reddish, I expect to take a huge step up this next year, especially defensively. And plus, you get Clint Capella into the starting 5. We didn't get to see him play with the Hawks, and I think he's going to be a good lob target for Trae Young, along with John Collins, who put up 21.6 points per game last season. They're going to be a team to watch. Make sure you look out. I think they'll be climbing up close to that 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Let's go to 22, the San Antonio Spurs. I'm sorry, Greg Popovich, but your reign as the wizard of the NBA is over because the talent around him is not good. DeMar DeRozan's older. LaMarcus Aldridge can't stay healthy. And outside of DeJounte Murray and Lonnie Walker, I don't really care to watch this team all that much. Coming in at number 21, the Orlando Magic. Look, no Jonathan Isaac next year after that devastating injury inside the bubble. Nikola Vucevic is still a great center. I like Aaron Gordon, but I think they're going to look to trade him. This team doesn't excite me. I've got them coming in at 21. Now, one thing that does excite me, and it always gets me going, are the deals that Fanatics has for us. When you go to chatsports.com/NBA mask, you can pick up your favorite team mask for as low as 30% off. So go pick them up today. They're shipping for free for a limited time only. The Warriors, the Celtics, the Lakers, the Mavs, any team you want, you can get 1, packs of 2, packs of 3, or packs of 4. If you're a loyal watcher here at Chat Sports, I'm sure you've already gotten yours. But if you haven't, go check them out today. Chatsports.com/NBA mask. That link's going to be in the comments, and it's going to be in the description of this video. Go check out our friends at Fanatics, and big shout out to them for sponsoring the show. Let's get into our top 20, starting off with the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team that I think a lot of people are high on for good reason because they have the number 1 pick. They have one of the top 3 centers in the NBA in Karl-Anthony Towns, and they just got D'Angelo Russell. But the team's still young. They still have a long way to go before I can put them outside of number 20. Sneaking into that top 20, the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that has a lot of question marks going into this offseason as they just let go of Billy Donovan. They mutually agreed to part ways, and they're likely looking to move on from Chris Paul, Dennis Schroeder, Steven Adams, the veterans of that team. But I will say this, one thing that is true about the Thunder, if they keep that veteran core intact, they're going to make it back to the playoffs. If they trade them, that's okay too, because they have elite draft assets and who I think is a top 5 player under 25 years old in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I like this Thunder team a lot. I think they're trending in the right direction when it comes to a rebuild, but I expect them to fall out of the playoffs next season. Right above them, I got another Western Conference team coming in at 18, the Phoenix Suns with Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, another top 10 pick coming in this year. They're going to be fun to watch. I'm not ready to say they're a true playoff team quite yet, though. Now, 17 and 16 were teams that I went back and forth on quite a bit because they were back and forth all year long. So coming in at 17, I got Zion Williamson's New Orleans Pelicans. Derek Favors is probably gone this offseason. They might look to trade J.J. Redick and really just embrace the young core of Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Josh Hart. And that's okay, as well as Jackson Hayes. I like that kid too, but not good enough to get them into the playoffs. So at 16, the team I put literally, like, if this was on a 1 to 10 scale, the Pelicans would have been like 10, or the Pelicans would have been like 9.9. The Grizzlies would have been like a 10. I've got them slightly above them because I trust the core that they have a little bit more with Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and guys like Jonas Valanciunas, but things could change. Remember, this is the way too early power rankings. Now, with those two teams, there are two guys that are really at the helm of them all. The number 1 and number 2 pick in last year's draft, Zion Williamson and Ja Morant. Who do you think has the better career? Let me know in the comment section. If you think it's Ja Morant type JM, if you think it's Zion Williamson type ZW, I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I think both are going to be incredible, and they're going to be a lot of fun to watch for a long time coming. Coming in at 15, I've got the Portland Trail Blazers, a team that has just so many question marks. Injuries a problem. Their wing depth is terrible. Yusuf Nurkic is coming off injuries as well. Dame and CJ McCollum are great, but how far are they going to be able to carry this team? One team that I just really can't get a read for, and I don't know what this offseason is going to look like, is the Houston Rockets. I've got them at 14. I think they'll probably slide to the 7 or 8 seed in the Western Conference. Now, currently, Ty Lue is gaining momentum as the next head coach of the Houston Rockets. They're also interviewing Jeff Van Gundy. And my thing with Houston is they've been so committed to the small ball for so long that if a new coach comes in and he doesn't know how to run that small ball, they're going to be in trouble. So I'm going to say it right now. Houston is in trouble next season. I don't think they're going to be a top team in the Western Conference. I think they're a first-round exit. I think there's a chance they miss the playoffs altogether. I'm not going to go that far quite yet because they still have James Harden and Russell Westbrook, but I do not like the composition of this team. Let's go to 13, the Indiana Pacers, a team that I think a lot of people are sleeping on in the Eastern Conference because nobody knows what's happening with Victor Oladipo, nobody knows what's happening with Miles Turner, but they still have an all-star in Domantas Sabonis, and I love Malcolm Brogdon. I'm super high on him. I think this team's going to be really, really solid, but not going to make too much noise when it comes playoff time. At number 12, I got the Utah Jazz. Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, they must have figured out their problems. You get back Bojan Bogdanovic and Joe Ingles next season fully healthy. I think this team's going in the right way. Donovan Mitchell has truly stepped into that superstar status for the Utah Jazz. One team that I am not sold on whatsoever, much like the Houston Rockets, is the Philadelphia 76ers. This time last year, I would have had Philly top 5. Now, I don't even have them top 10. I like the Doc Rivers hiring. That's whatever, but you still have a lot of question marks. Who the heck's going to shoot around Ben Simmons? Who's going to shoot around Joel Embiid? What the heck's going to happen with Al Horford's terrible contract? I don't know about this team. They are outside the top 10 at 11 for me. Let's stick with the Eastern Conference and go number 10 to the Toronto Raptors. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka, Fred VanVleet, all some major free agents for them, but I love OG Anunoby. I love Pascal Siakam. And Kyle Lowry doesn't get the respect he deserves. So I like this team, number 10 for me. Let's go to number 9. One of the most polarizing teams in the NBA next season, and the one that everybody's going to have their eye on, the Brooklyn Nets, with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving ready to hit the court for the first time together on this Brooklyn team. Kyrie's your point guard. Karis LeVert did great in the bubble. I've got him at the 2. I think they re-signed Joe Harris. That's why I've got him starting at 3. Jared Allen in the middle should start over DeAndre Jordan. Just got to get some answers off the bench because Garrett Temple, John and Musa, and Rodion Kurucs, not really sold on any of those guys. My one big question with this team is that Brooklyn really could be the Clippers 2.0. You got two superstars that nobody really knows how they're going to play together. Do they have an early exit? Is their window closing? We'll just have to wait and see. But I do think they're going to be in the Eastern Conference and in the Eastern Conference playoffs and near the top of it as well. Let's go to number 8, the Boston Celtics. I love Kemba. I love Jayson Tatum. I love Jaylen Brown. Don't expect this team to slide. Don't expect them to take a huge jump up. That's why I've got them in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, team that must stay healthy to remain this high in my power rankings, it's the Dallas Mavericks. I've seen them as high as 5 in the much too early power rankings. I've seen them as high as or as low as 13, even 14 before, but I've got them right in the sweet spot at number 7. If KP's healthy, top 4 team in the Western Conference. If you want to keep up with literally all things Dallas Mavericks, go subscribe today to youtube.com/allthingsmavs. We're trending toward 10,000 subscribers. So please go hit that subscribe button. Links in the comment section and in the description. Coming in at number 6, I got the runner-ups for the national title, the NBA championship, the Miami Heat. I love Jimmy Butler. I love Bam Adebayo. I love Tyler Hero. I love Duncan Robinson. But I need some more long-term sustained success from this team before I can put them into my top 5. Dragic is a free agent. That could be a huge loss for them. So a lot of little question marks. Jay Crowther as well. But I do think they'll be probably top 3 in the East again, but not top 5 in the NBA. Now, maybe it's the Miami Heat. Maybe it's some other team that I had way too low. But which team has Hater Jimmy disrespected the most? Because I know there's always going to be those fans that come to this video, they watch the first 5 seconds, they realize I have their team in the bottom 5, and all of a sudden, they hate me. You know what? That's okay. I embrace the hate. Bring it on. So let me know, which team have I disrespected the most in my power rankings? And before I get to my top 5 of the power rankings, I want to make sure you guys have subscribed to Chat Sports, because guess what? Big round of applause to our subscribers. We hit 200K, which means the road to 300,000 subscribers starts today, baby. No time to waste. We're climbing to the very top of the YouTube mountain. Now let's go to number 5, the Golden State Warriors. That's right. They are back. Steph Curry's back. Klay Thompson's back. They have Andrew Wiggins. They've got the number 2 pick that they're probably going to trade. And Steve Kerr is still a mastermind of a coach. He said this roster is far from finished, and I believe him. This might not be a hot take at all, but with Steph Curry in the lineup and a healthy Klay Thompson, that team is immediately back to championship contention for me. So that's why I've got them top 5. I think it'd be ridiculous to have them any lower than this. Coming at number 4, the Los Angeles Clippers, who I think after 2021, their title window could be closing. I have a lot of questions about this team. What does the chemistry look like? Who is their next head coach? Will that next head coach be able to handle the big egos that are all over this team? Plus, what happens with Montrezl Harrell? What happens with Marcus Morris? What happens with Reggie Jackson? Their depth is going to take a little bit of a hit this offseason, and I don't think I trust them. I think they could absolutely implode this year with guys like Kawhi and PG not getting along. A head coach that might not know what he's doing with this team. It's going to be some big question marks coming for the Clippers, who have championship aspirations, but I'm not 100% sure they're going to reach those championship aspirations before 2021. At number 3, a team that I am super high on is the team in the Mile High City, the Denver Nuggets. Now, they are looking to keep that core intact past this year. They've got Nikola Jokic. They've got Jamal Murray. I love Jeremy Grant if they can bring him back. And now they have a stud in Michael Porter Jr., who, when he stays healthy, he's an immediate 15 points per game off the bench for them. Now, they also have guys like Gary Harris and Will Barton that they could look to trade, and if they use those trade chips, they could go out and get a third piece like a Bradley Beal or like a Drew Holiday. I love this Denver team. I think they finish second in the West next season with another year of Nikola Jokic, another year of Jamal Murray taking a huge step forward like we saw him do in the playoffs. Listen, guys, this team is the real deal. I didn't always trust Jamal Murray, but he's made me an absolute believer after defeating the Los Angeles Clippers in that second round of the NBA playoffs. Let's go to my number 2 team, the Milwaukee Bucks. And you're like, Jimmy, they can't win in the postseason. Why does it even matter? Because they win in the regular season. They had the best record in the regular season. They had the best player in the regular season. They were the best defensive team in the regular season, and that's what power rankings are based on. I love Giannis Antetokounmpo. I like Chris Middleton a lot, but this team definitely needs to make some moves. I'm not going to argue that whatsoever. Right now, they are not my favorites to win the title because the guys behind Giannis and Chris Middleton, even Eric Bledsoe and Brook Lopez, there's not a lot there. But the good thing about this Bucks team is that I don't expect them to be, real frivolous with their money. I think they're going to really use and spend their money well to keep Giannis happy before he enters free agency in 2021. I've got them at number 2 in my way too early NBA power rankings. And that means coming in at number 1, of course, the one team that you're probably like, Jimmy, you forgot about them. No, I didn't. I saved the best for last. The 2020 NBA champions, the Los Angeles Lakers. And look, this team has so many free agents. Literally, it seems like half the team is actually entering free agency, but it doesn't matter when you're a championship contender because when you win a ring, that makes you an immediate free agent destination. Anthony Davis ain't going anywhere. I don't expect him to leave. I expect him to opt out and then re-sign with the Lakers. They are my early favorites to win the 2021 title, and they're also Vegas's early favorites to win the 2021 title. Do not expect this team to drop off at all. If LeBron's healthy, if AD is 100%, and they sign some better role players than guys like Markieff Morris and, Quinn Cook, then yeah, they're going to be just fine. And I've got them number 1 in my way too early NBA power rankings. So I'm going to finish off today's video with a question. And if you've made it all the way to the end, congratulations. I appreciate you watching. And I'm going to reward you by letting you answer this. Who will win the 2021 NBA title? Give your predictions now so that when they do win it, you can come back to this video and be like, hey, look, I predicted this way back in October of 2020. So go ahead, make your predictions down below.